The night air was thick with an eerie stillness as I walked up to St. Morwen's Hospital, a place most people had never heard of, and those who had refused to speak about. My new job as a night shift orderly had come unexpectedly, offered through an anonymous email after weeks of job searching. It promised good pay, minimal work, and unique experiences. The last part should have been a red flag. I should have asked more questions. The building itself looked ancient, its high stone walls cracked with age. Wrapped in thick ivy like nature itself was trying to reclaim it. A flickering neon sign buzzed above the entrance, casting an unnatural greenish glow on the cracked pavement below. There were no ambulances, no other staff arriving, just me, clutching the single-page contract I had been given. My name scrawled at the bottom in trembling ink. When I stepped inside, the air changed. It was too cold and the silence was too heavy. A single woman sat behind the front desk, her sharp, hollow eyes flicking up at me like she already knew everything about me. Her name tag read Miriam, but when she spoke, her voice was mechanical, almost rehearsed. "You're the new hire," she stated. Not a question. I nodded. She slid a folder across the desk. Inside were the rules' strange, cryptic instructions that made my stomach twist. 1. Do not enter room 217 under any circumstances. 2. If you hear scratching from the walls, ignore it. It isn't for you. 3. Never, ever let a patient out of their room, no matter what they say. 4. If you hear a voice calling your name, check the security feed first. Make sure it's actually coming from inside the hospital. 5. At 3:33 a.m. Hide. Do not come out until 3:36 a.m. I let out a nervous laugh. Is this a joke? Miriam didn't blink. Clock in. Your shift starts now. She turned her back to me. I didn't stop running until I reached the security room, slamming the door behind me. My breath came in sharp gasps as I locked it and pressed my back against the cool metal. The monitors flickered erratically, showing glimpses of the hospital hallways. Then, on one of the screens, I saw myself, standing outside room 217. But I was in the security room. My double turned its head slowly, as if it knew I was watching. Then it smiled that same jagged, unnatural grin. The screen flickered. My double was gone. But then, knock, knock. The sound came from the door behind me. I turned, pulse hammering in my throat. Another knock. This time, slower. I reached for my radio, my voice shaking. Miriam, I think something's wrong. Static. Then a whisper. You shouldn't have broken the rules. The lights went out.
When I woke up, the security room clock read 3:32 a.m. I wasn't in the chair anymore. I was lying on the floor, my head pounding. Something was outside the door. A shadow moving unnaturally jerky. Twitching, inhuman, I scrambled up, pressing myself against the farthest wall. The lights flickered back on for 1 second, and I saw it. Not a person. Not even a monster something. And finished. Its skin was stretched too tight, its limbs too long, its mouth unhinged open, filled with sharp, glistening teeth. Then darkness again, 3:33 a.m. Hide, do not come out until 3:36 a.m. I dove under the desk, shoving my hand over my mouth to silence my breathing. The door creaked open. I felt something crawl inside. The air turned thick and wet, as if the room had filled with damp earth. My lungs screamed, but I didn't dare move. Click, 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 the sound of bones popping, joints twisting. Then a whisper, found you. I clenched my eyes shut, praying, silence. When I finally opened my eyes, the clock read 3:36 a.m. The door was shut, the thing was gone. But before I could breathe, I saw it. Something had been carved into the inside of the security door. Deep, jagged letters of warning. Don't trust Miriam. And that was when I realized I was never getting out of here alive. I stared at the carved words on the security room door. Don't trust Miriam. My mind raced. Who had written it? One of the past employees. Did they escape, or did something else happen to them? A shiver ran down my spine as I thought of Miriam's hollow stare, her unsettling calmness. She had known I would be tested. She had let it happen. I needed to get out. But before I could move, the security monitors flickered again. The cameras displayed the hospital hallways empty, eerily still, then, one by one, the screens glitched, revealing something new. Room 217's door was open, and standing in the hallway was me. Or at least, something wearing my face. The imposters had tilted unnaturally, its expression vacant except for that same jagged grin. It turned toward the nearest camera and slowly raised a hand. Then it pointed directly at me. The screen cut to black, and then, knock, knock, knock. The door behind me rattled violently. I bolted.
The hospital felt different now. The halls stretched longer, the air growing colder with each step I took. The overhead lights flickered, their hum distorted, as if the building itself was alive. I needed to find Miriam. I didn't trust her, that she was the only one who knew what was going on. I turned a corner and nearly screamed. Miriam stood right there, motionless. Her eyes were vacant, her lips slightly parted as if she had been caught mid-breath. That something was wrong. She wasn't blinking. Her body was too still. Then her mouth moved, but her voice didn't match. You shouldn't have broken the rules. Her words echoed like a recording played back on a loop. I stepped back, heart hammering. What is this place? Miriam jerked forward. Her limbs twitched unnaturally, as if she were a puppet being forced into movement. Her mouth twisted into a forced smile. Your shift isn't over. Then her head snapped sideways, her face inches from mine. Her pupils had turned black. I'll see you at 3:33. She disappeared. Just gone. Like the hallway had swallowed her whole. I turned and ran. I didn't stop until I reached a metal door labeled morgue. I didn't want to go in, but something told me I'd be safer in there than in the open hallway. I pushed it open, the scent of cold metal and decay hitting me instantly. The air was thick, damp, the kind that clings to your lungs. Rows of steel cabinets lined the wall's body storage. I stepped deeper inside, my shoes echoing against the tile. Then, from the farthest cabinet, a slow, deliberate knock. I froze. Knock, knock, the same pattern as before. Then the handle turned. I backed away as the cabinet door slid open on its own. At first I thought it was empty, but then, a hand. Pale, thin fingers wrapped over the edge. And then something sat up. The body was too tall, too stretched, its face wrapped in gauze and wires, its mouth stitched shut. It turned its head toward me. I ran. I didn't know where I was anymore. The hospital corridors were shifting, twisting into paths I didn't recognize. Then the PA system crackled to life. 3:33 a.m. I sucked in a sharp breath. Hide. Do not come out until 3:36 am. I lunged toward the nearest supply closet, slamming the door shut just as the lights cut out. The air grew heavy, suffocating. Then outside something moved. Not footsteps. Something dragging itself across the floor. My pulse pounded. A shadow crept under the door too wide, too unnatural. Then a whisper. You don't belong here. The door handle twisted violently. I pressed my back against the shelves, holding my breath. The whisper came again. You should have followed the rules. The door rattled. Then silence. When I finally checked the time, the clock read 3:36 am. I slowly opened the door. The hallway was empty, but on the floor a single slip of paper. I picked it up with shaking hands. On it, scrawled in rushed, desperate writing,